In the buzzing heart of Nakuru, behind a sagging green gate and cracked concrete walls, lived the Mugo family. A household ruled by Mugo, a retired teacher whose word was law. His voice had once commanded respect in the staff room and silence in the classroom, but in his home it ruled with fear. His daughter, Nima, was unlike her siblings. While her brothers walked on eggshells around their father, Nima asked why. Why her mother couldn't visit her own sister. Why the house was silent during beatings. Why her father believed a girl's only purpose was to serve tea and get married. Her curiosity wasn't tolerated, it was punished. "You'll never find a husband with a mouth like that," he barked often. But Nima didn't want a husband. She wanted a life. One humid evening, after defending her younger brother from a beating and challenging her father's decision to withdraw her school fees, things escalated. He stood over her, rage radiating from his skin. "You are no longer my daughter. Pack your things and leave this house." She froze. "Baba, it's late. I have nowhere to go." "Then sleep with your big ideas under a streetlight." Her mother said nothing, just folded her arms tightly, eyes cast to the floor. And so, at 17 years and 2 months, Nima was pushed into the world with nothing but a polythene bag of clothes, a half-torn Bible, and her education dream. That first night, she slept behind a food kiosk, her back pressed to the cold wall. Her stomach was empty, her eyes swollen from silent tears. The concrete was unforgiving, but not as hard as her parents' rejection. Days turned to weeks. Nima knocked on doors, friends' houses, teachers' gates, church offices. Some helped briefly, others pretended not to know her. She worked wherever she could, washing dishes, cleaning salons, selling sweets in traffic. She slept in makeshift rooms, store back rooms, and once even shared a matatu overnight with a kind driver who had overheard her praying in the rain. Despite the chaos, Nima never stopped studying. She carried her science notes in a plastic bag and studied under streetlights outside cybercafes and petrol stations. She'd wipe benches with her scarf and solve equations while people laughed at her. She didn't care. One day, a woman named Naomi, a plus-sized tailor with a booming laugh and suspicious eyes, noticed Nima sleeping outside her shop. "You don't look like a thief," she said, hands on hips. "Why are you here?" After hearing her story, Naomi offered her a small job sorting fabric and stitching basic hems. She gave her a mattress in the tiny boys' quarters behind the shop. Nima worked by day, attended adult evening classes by night. She sat her exams at 20 and scored a straight A-. The head of the local church foundation, impressed by her scores and story, offered her a full scholarship to university. She chose business and economics at Kenyatta University. University was a culture shock: laptops, loud roommates, and freedom. But Nima stayed focused. She didn't party, she didn't chase popularity. While others went home for holidays, she interned at NGOs, saving every coin she could. She graduated top of her class. By 28, she had founded Mwangaza Finance, a microloan platform targeting women-led businesses in informal settlements. She understood financial struggle, and she wanted to be the bridge for others like her. She traveled to Johannesburg, Kigali, even London for conferences. She was listed in Forbes Africa's 30 Under 30 and became a speaker at global youth summits. But even with all this success, Nima never spoke to her parents again. When Nima turned 32, her name was everywhere, from business magazines to local radio interviews. But she was still careful, keeping her personal life private. She had changed numbers more than once to avoid old ghosts from creeping back in. But one thing she never did was cut ties with Naomi, the woman who had once offered her a mattress behind a tailoring shop when she had nowhere else to go. Unknown to Nima, her younger brother Brian had quietly followed her journey for years. He saw her face on posters, heard whispers in town, but pride or shame kept him silent, until their father's second stroke left them desperate and drowning in hospital bills and debts. One day, Brian swallowed his pride and went to Naomi's tailoring shop, now managed by a young apprentice. "I'm looking for Nima," he said, eyes low. "I'm her brother." The girl hesitated, then picked up her phone. A few minutes later, Brian had a number, one she never gave out lightly. Nima was in her office on the 12th floor of Mwangaza Tower, finalizing documents for a new investment round. Outside her window, the Nairobi skyline gleamed, a far cry from the dusty alleyways of her past. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She rarely answered such calls. But something, intuition maybe, made her pause. She picked it up. "Hello." There was a moment of silence on the other end. Then came a voice, unsure, deeper than she remembered, but familiar. "Nima, it's me, Brian." She froze. The sound of his voice was like opening an old wound she'd stitched up long ago, one she had trained herself not to feel. "How did you get this number?" "I went to Naomi's shop," he said. "I didn't know where else to go. Please don't hang up." Nima didn't speak, but she didn't hang up either. "Our father, he had another stroke. It's worse this time. He can't talk, barely moves. We tried to pay the hospital, but we've sold everything. Mum is not well either. Nima, we're desperate." She closed her eyes, trying to keep her voice even. "You're calling me now? After 15 years of silence?" "I didn't know how to reach you. I watched from afar. I saw what you've built. I was proud, even if I never said it. I'm sorry for not defending you. I was a coward. But you didn't deserve what happened. None of it." There was sincerity in his voice, but also expectation. "So, what is it you want, Brian?" "Help. Anything. You're our only hope." Nima stared at the framed photo on her desk, a picture of her standing in front of the very first women's business cooperative she funded in Kibera. "No, Brian, I'm not. I stopped being your family the day you all left me outside with nothing but a plastic bag. I built this life alone." He didn't argue. She continued. "Tell Mum and Dad this. I forgave them so I could be free, but forgiveness is not a bridge back. It's a boundary. I help girls who are thrown away, just like me, but I am not your rescue plan." A long silence followed. "I understand," Brian said softly. "Good," Nima replied. "I wish him peace, but I'm done saving people who let me drown." Her hand trembled slightly, not from guilt, but from the weight of closing a chapter fully. For the first time in her life, she wasn't surviving, she was choosing. "We're sorry. Mum cries every night. Please, come see him, help us." She paused and ended the call. All the memories flooded back. The cold night, the rain, the silence of her mother's folded arms, the shame. Nima built a shelter for abandoned teenage girls. She called it a new home. It had warm beds, a library, counselors, and security. She didn't build it because she needed to give back. She built it because no child should ever be thrown away like trash. And though her family never saw her again, her name lived on, not in headlines, but in the quiet lives she transformed. Because Nima wasn't just a survivor, she was a woman who rebuilt herself from the ashes her family tried to leave behind.